I'd like to give all praises to Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahweh Kwakadaj, and double honor to the elders of GMS that rule well. Salutations to the elders and apostles and the brothers that's living in truth, doing great work, diligently night and day and night. Shout out to you, sincere sisters, who is loving Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahweh, loving yourself, respecting yourself, loving your husband, respecting your husband, loving your children, taking care of the home and doing the righteous things out of the Lord. Shout out to the hopeful elect and to the affiliates of GMS that rule well. And brothers that's doing good work, sisters that's trying their best to stay upright in the Lord. And I got a video today. I want to talk about the experience of Job, or what he been through, because we all had that Job experience. We all have those who say we did something wrong, or we did some kind of evil, or we made a mistake, or some, that's the reason why God is punishing us. And God don't never put you through something that you can't handle or bear. Yes, it's for a time and a season, and it's about your faith and your obedience to the Lord. Job never doubted God, but he had questions. so the Most High was trying to show him the difference between the human experience compared to divine wisdom that he has. So Job, he just goes and questions the Lord. Listen, we all have questions about the Heavenly Father. People want to know how he look, what is he doing, what is he thinking, is he real, does he exist, who made him, all these type of questions that come to our thoughts and mind. But the Lord has put us back in check, and checked us and checked our perspective of these questions, because it's not the wrong of questions. It's about the idea that you can't fathom. You can't, Salakia, you can't put your mind on those type of thoughts and then expect an answer that man can't answer. So that's why you want to control what you can control, and use what's given to you. So the Lord told us, man, to keep your mind off those type of thoughts, off of these type of questions, because the Lord is a magnificent power. He will show and reveal all things at the end when it's time of judgment. You have people on this planet, they think they over God. They think they think they can exalt themselves, and nobody can tell them anything. They feel like that they are the master of their fate. What I'm saying, far as when it comes to trying to deter somebody else from reaching their goals and limits. But you don't never let nobody stop your goals. You never let nobody tell you who you cannot become in this life, especially if you're reaching for greatness, because in all things, Yahawah will make you reach that greatness. Hold on, guys. So he's gonna make you reach that greatness, because we all have a gift inside of us. We all have questions. We all have wandering thoughts. But the Lord said, keep your mind off of those things, because it's gonna drive you insane, drive you mad. And you want to be on the focus of that He has chosen you to be great amongst all nations on this planet. All right. So we're gonna read here, short and brief, and we're gonna discuss the questions that Job has for the Lord. And if any brother or sister that's going through this, or have questions about the Lord, or you have doubt, get the doubt. Doubt is nothing. Doubt is a strange thing. Doubt is nothing on what you give it power to. So when you give power to doubt and strange things and fear, you're only eliminating yourself for greatness. So people have this inkling of, if I put everything and put my all and my heart into this, and what if I fail? And then what? Then you start the journey again. Then you become better. You reach your highest potential. It's okay. What I'm saying? We don't believe in failure, but we know that it has to happen in order to succeed. When I say we don't believe in failure, I mean that we don't let that be the stop. The stop is when you don't. The stop is when you don't finish. You don't stop at the middle. You rest when it's all done. You understand? So that's the encouraging words I want to give you. Now let's get to the book of Job. All right, and it says God speaks now. This is the Blue Letter Bible. One side of it is a KJV. The one side is the New Literation Translation. All right. So we're gonna read this scriptures. Okay. It says this is verse 1. It says this is Job chapter 38 verse 1, and this is from the KJV version. It says, then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is that darkened counsel by words without knowledge? So now he's questioning Job, right? So let's go to the NLT, and the Lord challenged Job. Then he says, verse 1, then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind. Verse 2, who is this that questions my wisdom, right? With such ignorant words, right? So he's saying, he's not calling Job ignorant. He's just saying, do you really know what you're saying? Do you really know who I am? You gonna fix your mouth to challenge God? So the Lord is gonna put him back into perspective, because he loved Job. He loved Job very much, but he had to put us through things. And don't ever think that Yahawah don't love you. His love, his mercy, his compassion is bestowed upon us, and we have to learn how to receive his love. Yes, we done things. Yes, we say things, and we slander. We do all these things, and we don't want to be the bad guy when we coming to you with the truth of the word of the Lord. We just want you guys to repent, knowing that we did our job to tell you, so that blood of guilt, which is called blood guiltiness in the scriptures, that it doesn't fall upon us, so that the Lord will point the finger at us and say, why have you told this person about their sin? Why have you told that person? So that's why we make these videos, so it can go abroad, so people can know that the words of the Lord has spoken. Not our words, is God's words, because the Lord has chosen his prophets to speak the word, or just put the spirit on someone just to forewarn them and give them reasoning of that they can change, that they can repent, to rethink. Sometimes it takes small matters for people to change completely. Sometimes it takes numerous of things for people to keep going through what they're going through, just so they can finally get it. And some people never get it. And sometimes the Lord sends out his judgment in Zephaniah 3:5. He said he sends out his judgment in the mornings, meaning like he's already established it already. The days have already been set forth what it's going to be. And it's up to you to choose that path. You're going to choose that path of your own way. You're going to derail yourself, or you're going to choose that path of the Lord and stay on a narrow path to inherit the kingdom. Which one is it? We all got to make decisions, man. That's what Apostle Paul told us. Work at your own salvation. A man can't save you in their judgment. Your mom, your dad, they can't save you. We all got to see the judgment of the Lord. We all guilty of wickedness and sins that we done. So if any man said that he have not sinned, he's a liar, because we all capable of sinning. We all capable of doing wrong. We all capable of doing evil. But we have to fight that. That flesh is so weak that we have to fight. It's a spiritual warfare. All right. So this is what Job was going through this. Job was going through this, but he didn't know the wager that at the time that the Lord and Satan had towards him. Okay. All right. It's in verse 3. It says, "Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee and answer thou me." So he said, okay. He said, now you want the answer, so now you're going to be like a man. You're going to get the answer, right? It said, 3, brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them, right? So the Lord said, okay, since you got these questions of this and that, and now I'm going to put you in this, and I'm going to put you in the hot seat. So I'm going to let you know the answer. But first, you have to answer these questions, and then I will fulfill your questions, right? I mean, yeah, fulfill your question with the answers that I will give you. But let's see what it says. It says, where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou has understanding. So he said, well, explain to me, where were you? Right? Verse 4 says, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you know so much. So basically telling Job, tell me where were you? Where were you? Since you know who you are, where were you? Right? Verse 5. Who have laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who have stretched the line upon it? So now watch what he said. Who determined its dimensions and stretched out the surveying line? So who can compel or explain this dynamic of what the dimensions held? What holds the dimension? What is the origin? What keeps this surveying line? What keeps it in place? Right? Verse 6, whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? It says, what supports its foundation, and who laid its cornerstone? What supports the sun in the sky, the moon in the sky, the waters? You know, what holds the world like this? What holds it? You know? Right? Verse 7, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Verse 7 on the NLT, he says, as the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. Right. So he says he's asking them like where were you when the stars sing? Where are you when the angels are flying? Where are you? You're not there, because you're here on this purpose, because your purpose is to serve me and be obedient. Right? Verse 8, or who shut up the sea with doors when it break forth, as if it had issued out of the womb. Right. It's I'm gonna read it again in NLT version. He said, who kept the sea inside its boundaries as it burst from the womb? Right. Verse 9, and as I clothed it with clouds and wrapped it in thick darkness. You see that? That's powerful, man. So the Lord is telling him, he said, he said, what is the foundation of this? You know, were you there when I created the waters? Was you there? Do you know how the waters became? Like he said, I covered the water with clouds. That's the reason why the clouds is there. You understand? So what you got to say? If you can answer these, and these are simple things to God, yeah, but it's hard to us, right? Verse 10, and he says, and break up for it my decree place, and set bars and doors. He said, for the NLT version, the 10th verse, for I locked it behind bar gates, limiting its shores. So he said, I got gates that you don't even see that blocks the water for going too far. You know, so the Lord do all these things. Look at what Moses and the children of Israel, when he was free, when Pharaoh had to let them go after the plagues was coming so heavily on Egypt. When they had to cross the Red Sea, remember the Lord split the sea. He split the sea, and that's powerful. And they walked to the other part of the sea. Pharaoh and them trying to get them, but then the Lord shut the door on them. So this is what we're saying. So the Lord can do miraculous things, powerful things. Yahawah has showed us, Christ has showed us powerful things, because he is of the Father. He's right in next command of the Father. So he believed he was sent by the Father to do these things. You know, Yahawah has healed. He has fed people. He has cast out demons. He turned water into wine. That was his first miracle. So we got to understand these things, man. All right? Because we can't put limitations on God. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put limitations on Yahawah. There's no limitations on Yahawah. It's unlimited. Okay? Once we think that we can put limitations on God, then we start to think this way. or a form of this way, because he never doubted God. He just wanted the clarity and understanding, like why am I going through this? What's going on? We just can't question him. We just gotta endure. We can't allow Satan to destroy our soul, man. He want to see us fail. And sometimes he jumps onto people to make us want to fail. People say, "Oh, you can't do it," and not saying that they in that position. They say that you can't do it. We can't allow people to tell us that what we can do or what we can't do. People can't stop you from being great. Only you stop yourself from being great. Yeah, they may say you can't do it, but now you got to say, well, I'm going to show that I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Verse 11, and said, hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall thy proud ways be stayed. Verse 11, he said, I said this far, and no further will you come. Here, your proud ways must stop. So he's saying that he's the one that controls when the waves can come and go and overflood. He's the one that controls the storms. He's the one that controls the things on his planet. Right? God's mighty power. Verse 12 says, Has thou commanded the morning since thy days, and caused the day spring to know his place? It says, have you ever commanded the morning to appear and caused the dawn to rise in the east? So he had not done that. Verse 13, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it. Verse 13 says, have you made daylight spread to the ends of the earth, to bring an end to the night's wickedness? Right. So he's the one that's showing people. He's the one showing people like he's the one that do these things. He the one that bring the light and dark. He the one that illuminates this. He the one that created this. How you gonna tell someone who they are by creating this? Who are we to judge somebody for learning or trying to get understanding? Who are we? We all was there at one point. People forget that they had a beginning, that they had to start. Verse 14, it is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. Verse 14, as the light approaches, the earth takes shape like clay pressed beneath a seal. It is rolled in brilliant colors. Hold on, guys. So verse 15, it says, right. So basically the Lord is showing like who can do these things. You know what I mean? Hold on, guys. Yeah. So, it's all about understanding the power of the Lord, man. We have to respect God and what he do. All right, verse 15. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the high arm shall be broken. It said, verse 15, the light disturbs the wicked and stops the arm that is raised in violence. He said that's what stops him. But you don't understand that because you don't know what it takes to do or to get there. The Lord is very powerful, man. You would keep reading on. I gotta finish working. Guys, you can read this whole 38 chapter. But the point I was trying to make is that the Lord, it's not easy being God. You understand? So we have these questions and these doubts and these miraculous things, but I hope the Lord, have mercy, much mercy upon us, man. I know the Lord loves us, but we have to show our dedication and love him. We all fall short. We all said we want to do these things, but our actions have to speak louder than our words. You know, I made mistakes. You brothers and sisters made mistakes. But, you know, when we said we're going to do something, we got to keep our word. You know, especially when we telling the Lord, I'm guilty of breaking those things, you know. But the Lord knows that I have a willingness and a drive when I'm on the right path, and I'm strong in my spirit, and I'm focused. Nothing can deter me. Only you as a person will get stopped. You know, you can't let people stop you. You stop yourself. Don't stop. But that's what the Bible tells us to be in and out of season with this. So, you know, when the season changes, don't stop because it's good. Keep going. That's the consistency that the Lord looked for. But I hope you guys was edified from the video. You know, just remember, you know, before you want to question God, think about these things. And instead of questioning him, you know, ask God, ask Yahawah, how can you help him in this process? Ask the Lord, what can you do in the process that he has shaped for us, you know, and what can you do for the kingdom? What can you do to inherit the kingdom? You know, if you can help someone, you know, if you can uplift them, you know, what is the value? You know, because you don't know who's listening to you. You don't know who can grow from this. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know, yeah, we get upset at people. Yeah, we get mad at people. Yeah, we say profanity. You know, we do all these things and whatever. But, you know, like I said, we don't mean to get out of character. It's just sometimes our spirit gets too on fire, but we got to be mindful of the things we're saying off our tongue. So I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys take heed to this. You know, learn from me, from my mistakes. I want you guys to excel and be better. You know what I mean? Because listen, we all came from wherever we come from. But it's no right to say, this person can't make it. Or, you know, we don't know what's in store in that person's life. But we're going to tell you when you're going off, and we're going to let you know you have to stop the foolishness, you know. And that's what we got to do. Shalom.